Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films, and today I'm watching Chainsaw Man. I hope it's not too late. I hope this is still big and popular. I think it is. I think a lot of people enjoyed and still enjoy Chainsaw Man. So, I did want to do this when it came out, but I don't know, it just didn't happen. So, here I am now, watching Chainsaw Man. This is the English dub of Chainsaw Man, because I did actually have a request to do this in the English dub, and hey, I'm always for an English dub, so I do hear it's a pretty good English dub. I guess baseline knowledge, what do I know about this? There's a man with chainsaws. That's kind of it. I've seen one clip from this show. Only one. It was months ago, but it was one clip. It's in a later episode, and it's with the girl with the eye patch. And that's about it. And it was also... It was a clip, but it was also a meme as well. So, yeah. Other than that, I really don't know what the plot is, what we're doing, why is he the man of chainsaw? I have no idea. So, I don't know, but I'm going to watch it. I'm probably going to have a good time. And I hope you guys have a good time with me over the next 12 episodes while we watch Chainsaw Man. So, yeah. Now, there's two things we got to get out really quick, in case you're new here, basically. For my anime reactions, I don't actually have the reaction part here in the YouTube video because I'm sure you know, if you know anything about anime, is that they're very strict with copyright, and kind of for good reason, but also at the same time it's like, why you gotta be like this? But anyway, instead of me trying to do like 20 different things, like, oh, I'll cover the video in see-through duct tape so that you can see it but you can't see it, instead of trying to do all that, I just sort of bypass the whole thing. If you want to watch my reaction, the edited, nice cut-up reaction to this episode of Chainsaw Man, it's down in the description and in the pinned comment. It's just one click away over to the reaction video. There's two links there. The first one is to Internet Archive. That's the general place that I host the video. There's two videos on that, and it's just a quality option in case you're having trouble loading the episode. So the first one is a 1080p. The second one is a 720p if the 1080p is just not working out for you. The second link is to Google Drive. That's another backup link. In case either of those don't work, there's a backup on Google Drive. And then you will notice there is a third link down there, because that's the second thing we're going to talk about, is full length. For the first episode of every season that I do here on the channel, I offer the full length available for free, just for the first episode. So if you want to watch my unedited reaction to this episode of Chainsaw Man, that's over on my Patreon page. But again, it's free, no paywall or anything on that one. And yeah, what you'll have to do is sync up your copy of this episode of Chainsaw Man to my footage, because I don't have any footage, because if I can barely show you the edited version, I can't give you the whole episode, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm sure you can find ways of watching Chainsaw Man. I'm watching it here on Crunchyroll, but I'm sure you can easily find it. All you have to do is hit play on the full-length reaction, and then there will be a count-in for you to hit play on Chainsaw Man. So all that stuff out of the way, why don't we jump right into episode 1 of Chainsaw Man? Here we go. Well, that was fun. Oh boy. I feel like I stepped into an R-rated version of One Punch Man, honestly, Like, it kind of gives off that vibe of, like, the, sort of, with the heroes and the monsters, and now this with the devils and the devil hunters, Like, or maybe even you could say I guess you could say an R-rated version of Demon Slayer, to be honest, but, like, I don't know. That was something. I enjoyed it. Let's throw that out there first. I enjoyed that. Oh, boy. Good instantaneous world building, I must say. just all the devils again. That's kind of why it felt like One Punch Man, is because it just like the devils that are just sort of roaming about and everything reminds me of just all the villains that would go roaming about in One Punch Man. And there's a specific like hero association that deals with it, whereas here it's specifically devil hunters. And I think the girl at the end, which we didn't get her name unfortunately, but the girl at the end was saying that she's like from the public commission or something, so she's like I don't know, maybe like a state sponsored hunter or something, I don't know. But it's interesting too that, because I mean, like, just with the ending there, like oh, she's another devil hunter, and she didn't get the score basically, because Denji did, which I think that's his name. We'll look that up in a second, because I also want to look up his voice actor. It kept sounding like Eric Vale, but I just wasn't sure, so I'll have to look that up. But anyway, so yeah, so I find it interesting because you would almost expect her to be pissed about it. It's like, oh, some guy got my score instead of me. But I guess just because of the situation he's in, he's now a sort of possessed person. Like, he is possessed by a devil, Puchita. It's just that I don't know. I guess he's retained his humanity. Like, I don't know what. I'm not sure. We haven't seen another example, I feel like. At least I'm pretty sure we haven't seen an example in this episode of someone being possessed by a devil. So I would assume it's sort of, it would be that if you're possessed by a devil, you do sort of lose all sense. It's the devil that's at work. They're the ones in control of your body. Whereas here, Puchita has definitely left Denji to be, really. Like, but I guess when he's in his Chainsaw Man form, I guess maybe that's just a sort of primal berserk instinct or something, and then he can, I guess, just deactivate it and become Denji again, which I'm assuming that's rare. But yeah, but then just to have that, it's like, well, I could either kill you here for taking my score, or I could hire you. That way, if you take someone's score, you're still benefiting me, basically. But it's interesting, it's not just, hey, why don't I hire you so I don't have to compete with you? It's, she specifically says, you will be my pet. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. I mean, I guess he is part dog now, or devil dog? I don't know. Alright, let's look up Denji's voice actor. I'm gonna wait on the girl until next episode, because I just don't know her name at this point. So, Denji Chainsaw Man. I got it right. Here, let me just do voice actor. There we go. That's easier. Okay, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Denji is voiced by Ryan Colt Levy in the English dub. Okay. Let me see if I recognize this guy from anything. Hey, okay, so we already got a hit. My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission, the third My Hero Academia movie. He plays Rhodey Soul. That is great. I loved Rhodey in that movie. He kind of made that movie work for me. Squallow in JoJo Part 5. Minor character, but I still recognize him. That looks like it's it, so... Okay. So some stuff, at least. Some stuff. So yeah, it really sounded like Eric Vale in a couple points, so that's why I had to check, but hey, he's a really good voice actor, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just the establishing... This is one thing I sort of... one thing I like with anime... And I know, 20 million shows do all of this, and they have to do all of this, obviously. But I feel like anime does this the best, probably because of the length of the episodes. Because the first episode, for the most part, I know there have been recent shows that have gotten, like, hour-and-a-half movies. Like Oshi no Ko got a, like, hour-and-a-half episode for its first episode, you know? Whereas this, you know, is just a standard half-hour fare. Less than that, really, 25 minutes. But I do really enjoy shows like this that it's just like, all right, go, you know? Like, in one episode, you pretty much get everything you need to know, you know? And I know that most shows are like that, and most anime are like that, but I don't know, like, there's something about... I can't describe it. I can't describe how it is, but basically, I enjoyed the episode, and I enjoyed the world building, and, you know, you pretty much already know Denji's character out the gate, and you understand everything about him. And it's just, you know, very, very quick things, you know. His father, basically, from what it sounds like, his father offed himself in order to not pay debt. That debt is then passed on to his son Denji, and Denji, while he was at that moment, he was going to accept death. He's like, hey, there's a devil here. All right, if he kills me, then that's that, you know? But I like... It's an interesting thing where, you know, he sees Pochita, which I should also check how that's spelled. I bet you I'm spelling that wrong. Okay, so... Yeah, so I didn't... No, it wasn't too far off. I missed an H. I missed the H, basically. So, okay. So, yeah, so when he sees Pochita, like, you know, bleeding to death, basically, it is interesting, you know, he has this sort of sympathy for a devil. Isn't that ironic? But yeah, he does have this sympathy for it, and he sees... I mean, it's basically, you know, it's a creature that's also in a terrible position as he is. And so he does take pity on it, and he's like, hey, like, even though it's a devil, he's like, hey, you know, take my blood. You can heal with my blood, basically, you know? And he does, and that forms a contract between the two of them. So that already is interesting, because at first I was just questioning, what the hell is this dog, you know? Like, it didn't, because, you know, it's just at the beginning, they had just established devils, so... It hadn't crossed my mind yet. It's like, oh, it's a devil. That's why. It's not just... That's not what dogs are like in this show. That's just what he's like because he's a devil, you know? But that was an interesting thing, too, because it's like, why... If he's so scraped for cash, like, why would he have a dog? But that's why, is he made the contract when he was young. And so that's how he fights devils, basically. And that was his idea. Hey, hire me to fight devils, and that way I can pay off my debts. So that was interesting. And then we also had the whole thing with the zombie that his employers just, they gave in. They were like, hey, you know, this thing's offering us a higher power. Obviously it lied, but they were just so tempted, they were so desperate for a higher power that they went with it, you know? So, and I like how Denji sort of questions it, like, you know, these guys, they had so much. Why would they want more? But then he thought, well, I do live happily with Pochita, so, but I always want more. I want that normal life, you know, where he can have jam on bread and play video games with a girl, you know? And I don't know, maybe this pink-haired girl, maybe she'll play some video games with him. I don't know. I mean... Again, there's this whole pet thing now. We'll have to deal with that next episode, I guess. But I like that, where he's like, you know, honestly, he just realized, like, well, it's honestly just human nature to want more, and especially wanting more at the expense of someone else, you know? So, but honestly, it's about, you know, do you let people stand in your way of wanting more? And Denji was able to overcome them and get those people out of his way. Obviously, he still has, you know, 12 million more obstacles, I'm sure, but he stood up and fought, and he went berserk. The animation went crazy. Mappa just flexing, you know, with this animation. So yeah, that was great. And honestly, I do really like the design of his Chainsaw Man form, because it's really goofy, you know? I feel like... See, I don't know anything, you know, about production or about, like, the author of the manga or anything. But to me... Because this is such an odd premise, I feel like. But to me, it feels like... and hear me out, because this is going to sound dumb, but I feel like this show is kind of dumb. Great, fun. But, I mean, just the premise itself of a Chainsaw Man is kind of goofy, but that's fine. But it reminds me a bit of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where they royally fucked up Deadpool, and they had the whole thing where, like, because he had, like, 20 mutant powers or whatever the fuck it was, and where, Wolverine has his claws that come out of his fist. Deadpool had his two katanas, basically, and he could, like, flip people off with katanas, and it's stupid, and he looked awful. But there's just something about, especially with the chainsaws, coming out of his hands, literally ripping through his hands like that. And then the one on his head, too. It's like, it kind of reminds me just a little bit of that. And that's probably just in my head. I'm sure nobody has thought of that. Because for God's sake, why would they? Why would they think of that movie? That was such a shit movie. But yeah, so... But, whereas that was a movie that tried taking itself seriously, this, I don't know, I almost feel like this isn't going to take itself super seriously. I mean, it might. I mean, maybe it might, like, if it takes itself seriously, I feel like that might be the joke almost. I don't know. I don't know how serious this is or how funny it is. Again, that's why it kind of feels like One Punch Man, where it's like, where One Punch Man was more of a goofier thing. Like, it kind of took itself a little seriously in the second season, but that first season was not really serious at all, especially when it came to the character of Saitama. And so I can kind of see that working here, where it's like, it kind of takes itself seriously, but also it's a guy who fused with a chainsaw dog to be a chainsaw man, I mean, just the title alone, Chainsaw Man, like, that's goofy. Or when it shows him, chopping down trees with his dog creature, and it's like, that's goofy as hell, man. Like, there's got to be some level of goofiness to this show, So, I don't know. How long have we been going? About 45. That's probably good. But yeah, a good first episode, a really solid first episode. It'll definitely hook you by the balls, or ball in the case of Denji. Did he get his ball back and his kidney? How much did he say he sold? His kidney, his left eye, and one of his nuts. So they showed that he did get his eye back. So I'm assuming he got his kidney and his testicle back as well. I hope so. I hope he did, but I don't know. I have no idea, but again, yeah, I'm invested. It's fun, it's interesting. It's kind of goofy, but I'm kind of okay with that. It's like, it's goofy yet kind of serious, but the seriousness kind of lends it to be more goofy, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm just happy that I finally got to sit down and watch this, and I'm excited to see where we're going throughout the rest of the season. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Chainsaw Man reactions, even though at the time of recording this, there's only one in there. There's also another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.